Let me know if when it's up and going.
So we're gonna count down, like shoot like off the screen.
Is it good?
Yep, man.
All right. So starting out, we're gonna go to the layout, and we're on the object layer, right? So make sure you're on the object layer. You're gonna add in a sprite. All right, so double click sprite, drop it anywhere you want. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it so we're gonna design something that's gonna destroy the cannonballs when it goes off the layout. And the reason for this is it's also gonna destroy the blocks as well as they fall. Now the point of this is you don't want to make it so cannonball destroys off layout and blocks destroy off layout, because you want to have that falling effect when the blocks fall over. You know, if they hit the edge of the screen, they're just gonna destroy and they're not gonna be there, and it's not gonna look realistic like Angry Birds. So we're gonna make a really big sprite on the outside that's gonna go vertical and horizontal. So we're gonna start off with the resizing it with the width of 5,938, and the height's gonna stay at 250.
5,938.
Yep. And my RGB is already set to it from period 3, but I'll go over anyway. So it's 250 red, 4 green, and 205 blue. It's like a hot pink. That's just something that we chose to make it nice and bright, vibrant, so you see where it is when you're looking at the layout. You're gonna rename it to Destroy Cannonball. All right, and then I have a set position for this one. It's 1172, so 1172 by 766. And what that's gonna do is gonna put it right below your ground. And when you zoom out, you'll be able to see now how big this actually is. All right, and this is gonna be for mainly these characters right here, the blocks, because once we start building it, you're gonna see that they're gonna tumble off the edge. So zooming in a little bit. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that same sprite right here, and you're gonna copy and paste it. All right, so Control C, Control V, and you're just gonna paste it right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this one vertical. And by doing that, we're just gonna make it nice and easy on ourselves. We're gonna go right over here to angle, and you're just gonna input 90. And it makes it straight vertical. All right? We did not do anything to this yet. And the position for this one is 1,929 and negative 160. And that's going to put it right there. And notice how I'm still leaving that gap to the edge of the layout to leave that block space to fall off the ground. All right?
What is the one for the bottom one?
The position is going to be 1,172 by 766. And lastly, we're going to make one more of these because sometimes people like to shoot things backwards, so we're going to put one behind as well just to be safe. So you're going to copy and paste it again. So I'm going to select the vertical one so that way I have to save that step of putting in the angle. And I do have the position for this one as well. It's going to be negative 150 by 609. Alright, so now you have your cannonball destroyers on the outside, your block destroyer down here. And moving forward from that, actually this one is, I apologize, this one is not that position. This one is at negative 1612 and 370.
Negative 165, you said?
Negative 1612 by 370. Next, we're going to reposition this cannonball sprite so that way on the starter layout it's going to destroy it, and you're going to understand why in the code a little bit later why we need to do this. But don't delete it. If you delete it, it will crash your game. That is literally the words from the designer. So do not delete the cannonball. So the position of that one is the negative 150 by 609. That was where I got my numbers mixed up.
You want to know I want to delete the cannonball or like watch it completely crash.
If you delete the cannonball and you crash it, that is your problem. I told you not to do it.
You've been warned.
You have been warned. All right, now go into the event sheet. All right, we're gonna add in an event. You're gonna select the cannonball. You're gonna do is overlapping another object. The object is destroy cannonball. The action is going to be cannonball and then destroy. So now our cannonball will be set to destroy on contact with any of those pink blocks that we added in. Next, we need to add in the cannonball power max. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a global variable. And it's going to be cannonball power max. And the value is actually going to be 1,000. After this, you're going to go to this event here. The touch is in touch. And we're going to create a sub-event. So right-click, sub-event.
Where's that?
So the very first event, it should be is in touch. Touch is in touch. You're going to create a sub-event for that.
Alright.
And then you're going to select system. And you're going to select compare variable. The variable is cannonball power. The comparison is less than. And the value is cannonball power max, that new global variable we added in. You should be able to type in cannon and it'll pop right up and it's right there. Alright, so now when you play it, cannon works. And you're going to see now the scroll is going to work a lot better with the cannonball.
Did nothing. That's how you suck at your own game. Yeah.
The longer you hold down the mouse, the more power it will have.
Wait.
Oh,
How
I
did you,
want to do that.
get it to go that far to hit the block there.
You got to hold down the power.
Oh my
That's-
god.
No. The cannonball's
This
going,
was so
but
fun.
it's not good.
Remember how you like
goes
completely
off
destroy
screen.
things? So
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is where it's sitting.
There. Let's see like how like one power is. That is new.
It's just doing
Look,
that.
throw a piece.
Like, it's not even showing my option.
So I watch
there.
one power in this.
Did you hit it off the block?
No, it's right
Right
there.
up in the air.
Yeah. Did you hit it off the block with the cannonball?
I don't know.
The block just moved. So I'm
Alright,
guessing
I'm
you
gonna
hit the
hold
ball.
on for
You hit the goal.
I did not see it.
Just launch it high.
There. Let's flop that.
There we go. I didn't. My bad.
Yeah. What's going on, Jacob?
Oh, heck. What's going?
Wait, he's actually still there, but like my camera's all the way down there.
Go to the live stream. It's on there.
See, you know, I bottom flip. No, I go flipped it.
All right.
I don't know, it's like a space between us.
Now, you're going to go to your layout. And you're going to probably want to zoom in a little bit if you saw her out here. We're going to start setting up our tower.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Like a Mario.
So, you have your blocks right here. You're going to copy and paste this 3 times to have your bottom layer.
Are you just
So you're going to go Control C, Control V, and you're just going to paste them. And you're going to do another Control V and paste it again. So now you have 3 blocks along the bottom. I'm going to reposition them so that way they have the same Y as the original one, because I know that that's equal on the ground. So the original Y is 321. So when I go to here, I'm gonna make this one 321. Nope, that didn't work. No, it changed everything. Yeah, 321 and 321. And now all my blocks are nicely equal at the ground.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah,
Can I change up the building a little bit?
you can do whatever you
Alright,
want to
like-
do with your building. That is your choice. I'm just building it one specific way. Alright? For now, you want to move your goal off the screen because we're going to build layers to this building. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to click on any of these blocks that you just pasted and we're going to make them horizontal. So you're going to just, actually you could probably just still do Control V, it'll still be there. Yep, it's still there, so you can still do Control V. And then you're just going to change the angle in the angle box right over here to 270. And it's going to make it perfectly horizontal. You're going to do 2 across. You're going to see that it's about halfway. You see?
Why isn't it moving down?
And then once you have one made, you can just copy that one and paste it in. And then space them out however you like. It's up to you. Alright, I'm going to leave a little bit of a white gap between each one so that way I can see that they're separated. So that's how I got mine looking right now. And then just to add a level of difficulty to it, I'm going to copy one more vertical block and paste it on top of those ones. And now you have your tower made.
I'm changing them. I'm making them look like go.
Now, if you wanted to make a more complex tower, and you can do this after we're done designing the game, obviously, just go back and pull your ground down a little bit more and you'll have a little bit more space to make something. It's up to you. But for right now, if you don't want to fall behind, you want to stick with me, just stick with what we're doing right now and you can go back and change that up after. All right. Moving forward, we're gonna add in a spawning spot for your goal. All right. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a sprite. You're gonna drop it wherever. I'm gonna drop it right here. I'm gonna resize it to 25 by 25. And I'm just gonna make it all black, so I'm just gonna do 0, 0, 0. You're gonna rename this one to spawn location. All right. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna copy and paste this a couple times so that way you have a couple different spawning spots. We're gonna set it so it's kind of random. So now I have 3 spawning spots, one on each side and one on the top. So now we're going to go back to our event sheet. We're going to add in the spawning. All right. So starting out, event. You're going to select system, and then you're going to do on start a layout. For the action, you're going to do cannonball. You're going to set enabled, and it's going to be underneath the scroll to. So look, you're going to see it's going to pop up underneath physics, and it's going to pop up underneath scroll to. You're doing the scroll to.
Wait, enabled?
Set enabled. And it's going to be the underneath the scroll to one, not the physics one.
Which object is this? I'm sorry.
Cannonball.
Wait, oh, I did the wrong thing.
And you're going to set it to disabled. Huh? Underneath the scroll to, yeah. So it's set enabled for the scroll to. And then disabled. And then you're going to add the action system scroll to object. So it's right here, scroll to object. And you're going to select spawn location. And then next we're going to add in a wait. So you're going to do another action, system, wait.
It's not even showing up.
2 seconds.
No, it's not showing up.
What's not showing up?
I typed in wait for like the add an event.
You got it, Eli?
Oh, well. You're trying to add an event by an action.
All right. So after that, we're going to do a system, another action, system, scroll to object again. And then this one's going to be the cannon. Is anybody catching on to what I'm doing? So in Angry Birds, when you start, it shows you what you're trying to hit first, right? And then it goes back to your cannon. That's what we're setting up right now. We're setting up that scroll to the game to the spawn location, so where your goal is spawning, and going to wait 2 seconds and go back to your cannon to where you're going to shoot. And then we have to re-enable the cannonball. So another action, and do system, or sorry, not system, cannonball. Set enabled again. And make sure it's the scroll 2, not the physics. And then this time it's going to be enabled. And now we're going to set up another action to set up the spawn location. So we're going to do add action. You're going to click on spawn location. We're going to set the opacity to 0. Set opacity, change it from 100 to 0. And then you're going to click and drag this action to the top. So that way we're not going to see those spawn locations when we play the game. And that's all the actions for the OnStar layout for now. And then lastly, we're going to add in the spawning of the actual goal. So we're going to do add event. We're going to select system. And we're going to do pick random instance. Pick random instance right here. All right, you're going to select for the object, it's going to be spawn location. And for the action, we're going to select the goal, what we want to spawn, set position to another object, the object is going to be spawn location, and the image point is going to be 0. And the last thing we need to do is add a condition to this event right here that we just created. So you're going to select it, right click, add condition, and then you're going to select system, and then we're going to select trigger once while true. So at this point, when we run our layout, it's going to show you your tower. It's going to go back to your cannon. And now when you shoot,
Oh my god, yo,
it's going to scroll.
Yo, I need to add more power. Look at this.
So and
Oh god.
the goal spawns like this, right?
Yep. So when I restart it
I
now,
need to set the power so high because like
it's in the same spot.
What's the
Now it's over here.
Have you
So-
set the instance once?
What do you mean?
You just set it once in the event. That's
Yeah.
the
Yo, I
condition.
need so
Or
much
trigger
power.
once.
Trigger
I'm
once, yeah.
building
So
way too
it's
big.
trigger once is trigger once while true is what it's called.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. So, and remember, your power builds the longer you hold it.
I think maybe I'm building too tall, so I need to make the power very large.
But you'll see as you refresh it, it'll keep spawning in different spots. It's back on that side now. Let's see if I can get it up top.
Yes. I don't wait. Did that just go right through that? 'Cause I don't think that didn't even fall down. I think it just glitched right through it.
Of course, it's not going to go there for me. There it is. And now it's on top. So you'll see it'll spawn in different spots as it goes.
I wonder if I should try making like a tall tower. That would be so cool. You know what? That's what I'm doing instead.
So next we have to set up the win and lose conditions, right? So going back to construct, you're going to click on the projects bar right here next to layers. Okay? You're going to go to layout 1 and you're going to rename it to game layout. And then you're going to rename event sheet 1 to game sheet. Alright. Once you do that, we're going to add another layout and another event sheet. So you're going to right click on layout, add layout. It's going to ask you, do you want to add an event sheet for this layout as well? You're going to click yes, add event sheet. So now you will have a layout and a new event sheet. The event sheet will not automatically open up, so you're going to have to right click and open it. And now it'll be there. So you'll be able to toggle between them all. And these are going to be renamed as home layout and home sheet. So home layout and then home sheet. So on the home layout, this one is going to be going back to that original size of just this square here. So you're going to click in the gray background and it's going to go to layout. You're going to see layout size on the left hand side. And you're going to input 854 by 480. So now your layout is the same size as the window size. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to add in a big button just so we can have that play again option. So you're going to do a sprite on the layout. You're going to drop it wherever. The size is fine because it's just going to be a button. And then I'm going to give it a color of blue just so it's nice and bright and I see it on the gameplay. So I'm going to do 17 red, 15 green, and then 239 blue. And now I have a square on my screen. And you want to rename this to button play, so BTN play. So we got our button, we have our home layout, and now we have to add in the event for this. So going to your home sheet, that new sheet you just created, you're adding an event. It's going to be touch. And then it's going to be on touched object. And then object is going to be button play. The action is going to be system. Go to layout.
Wait, by name? Or just like...
Go to layout, and then layout is going to be game layout. So when that button's clicked, it'll bring you to your layout. It'll bring you to the game. Alright, going back to the game sheet. So our original sheet that we had that we were using. We're going to add a global variable. And for this game, he used is playing. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm going to use is alive because it just sounds more correct. It's the same thing. So I'm going to do is alive equals 0. Or sorry, initial value is going to be is alive equals 1. And then just for safety, we're going to take this on start a layout event here and we're going to move that up to the top so that way we know it's first. because that's on the starter layout. You want that event first. And then in that event, you're going to add another action. And we're going to do system set value is alive equals 1. And you're going to drag this to the top of the actions list. So right at the start of the layout, the first thing it does is it sets your alive. Next, we're going to go to add an event. We're going to do cannonball. And then you're going to do is overlapping another object. And your object's going to be the goal. So that green square that I added in. The action is going to be cannonball destroy. So you're going to select cannonball destroy. So, and then no, that is the, so you're actually setting it so now when you hit that goal, so that object that you're trying to hit, it's going to destroy the cannonball after that. Alright, so cannonball destroy is those big blocks that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep. What I'm referring to is the goal now. So the goal, when you hit the goal with the cannonball, it's going to destroy the cannonball as well because that's what you want to hit. After that, we're going to add another action, and it's going to be destroy the goal because you hit the goal and you already won. So you're going to do goal, destroy. And the third action is going to be system, set value, is alive, is going to be 0. Alright, so let's test this out. Let's see. Alright, so I see my object.
What was the last event? Oh, I need help.
Yeah, system set value is alive equals 0. So, that's not a good one. There we go.
I need help.
What do you need help
know
with?
when you click the green button and then it brings you to the game?
Yeah, we didn't finish setting that up yet.
Oh, because when I went to click on it, the pinball already shot when I clicked on it.
Yeah, we didn't finish it yet. I'm just seeing right now if... So when you go to play your game, don't open it in the home sheet because it won't go there. It'll go there and you won't be able to use it yet.
I think we're definitely going to change the tower. I'm definitely changing this tower.
So again, this isn't exactly the easiest game, especially without the power meter that Mr. Wilkos will add in with you next week. He's gonna set it up so that way, as you're holding down the mouse, you're gonna be able to see where your power is at with your cannon. Nope, still didn't get it. Here we go, that's an easy one. And I missed it. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure it's working at this point. We'll get there eventually. I don't want to take too much time trying to show that, so we'll move on. Yeah, we're not done with that yet. So we have to go to, we're going to add an event. We're gonna do system.
What's the game sheet?
Yes, this is game sheet. Compare variable. You're gonna do is alive. You're gonna leave it at equal to, and it's gonna be 0. We're gonna do action is gonna be system. Go to layout. Layout equals home layout. So we're gonna add another action, and it's gonna be system wait. It's gonna be 2 seconds, and we're gonna drag this above, go to home layout. All right, so when we do this, it's probably gonna still be broken. And you saw right there, it destroyed it. I finally hit it.
You know what? I called this the A.
And if you did the code right, it should work. It's just now you won't have motion in your cannon, which we have to
You know what?
fix.
Hopefully this will be. Oh god, I forgot about that part. It looks like an elevator.
All right.
Oh, I think
So
I tried like rebuilding my thing, but now it looks like an elevator. I didn't like add supports like to the bottom of it, so fix it.
fix it.
Oh well, how am I gonna like?
I don't know.
I'm going to open up my game because this is where me and Mr. Wilco started tweaking things from his. All right. So
Whoops.
Good thing that crashed the game.
all right. So we're gonna go up here to on start a layout.
Yo, I have an idea.
We're gonna add an action.
Yo, I need to use it.
We're gonna do system
Why?
set value.
I'm not. Wait.
It's gonna be. You're gonna go onto on start layout, add an action.
Layout that action.
It's gonna be set value. It's gonna be is fired equals 0,
System
Set value.
and I'm just gonna drag this up here to the top.
fired and what? What's the
Zero.
power?
I'm gonna add in a wait. So we're gonna do system. We're gonna do wait. 2 seconds. And I'm gonna move that in between the set fire do 0 and the is alive. Alright. So we have to add in another global variable. It's gonna be called
I always have a nice working minutes.
yeah, you're good. I'm just trying to adjust it on the fly.
So what's the global variable?
The global variable is called. Sorry, I was on the wrong sheet. Is goal box hit? Is goal box hit? All right.
Well, what if?
Is goal box hit? The square that we're trying to hit. Is goal box hit?
Oh,
All right. And that is set to -1 on start a layout. All right, so initial value is going to be -1. All right. You're going to go into the actions and you're going to set up on start a layout, set is goal box to -1. All right. So we're going to do add an action system. What? What, the global variable? What are you talking about? It shouldn't be in the code yet, other than that global variable that we just created. So, system. We're going to do set value. Is goal box hit, and it's going to be set to -1.
Where is it? It's not there. UI. It's not there.
Did you add it yet?
Wait, what? It just got deleted.
Set value.
Wait,
Yep, set value.
Oh.
Anytime you're like using a global variable and you're trying to set what it's equal to, it's just going to be set value.
Control C too far. Dang it. Why did I put these actions back in again?
Alright, so let's just play and see where we're at, because we're probably going to stop here for the day.
What am I doing? Oh, so it's set value.
Something we're going to be adding in.
Wait, what's the value for like is goal box hit?
Huh?
What's the value for
-1.
Wait, do I just leave it there?
Just, what do you mean?
Like, do I put it to
Yeah,
the
it's going to
top?
still be broken. We have to tweak it more. Mr. Wilkos is going to finish it with you guys next week. What are you talking about?
Like, do I have to move this to the top?
Just leave it there for right now. Alright? Alright, so, Mr. Wilkos, do not log off. Mr. Wilkos decided that this game is going to be different. Because everybody struggles to do their code descriptions at the end of the assignment, you are now going to do them as you go. So at the end of every class, we're going to give you a couple minutes to take your screen captures of the code that we did that day and add it into your document and do the description. And this will factor into your weekly grade. So I highly recommend you do it. All right? We will just put it into your document. So you're not submitting this document. You're using this as we go. All right? You're just updating it every single day. So that way at the end, it's not just suffering through one day of putting in code descriptions and then you guys don't want to do the full description because it's so much in one day. It's going to cut off on that. All right? So go ahead, do your screen captures. What do you mean? Just do it wherever you are. Just do it for wherever you are. That's all that matters.
Wait, I think I might have fixed this.
What?
Oh, damn it.
You don't have to necessarily do the screen layout right now. That's up to you entirely because you're gonna end up deleting it and resubmitting it every time we add something in. I would just do the event sheets because that's where you guys lack in describing them later on is because there's so many events and then you're overwhelmed with the amount that you have to do. Last thing I want to say is today is my last day here. I know I didn't have much time working with you guys directly other than this week for the most part, but I just wanted to thank you for being great students and actually cooperating with me and being respectful. And I wish you all best of luck in the future. All right, so finish up your screen captures.
Why is that thing that?
Respectful. Yep, no problem, guys. And I'll give you a plus. Just because it's my last day, I'm not going to be mean. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too.
Hey, Holmes.
Let's look at 800, 1200. Salary, 10 mounts. Sounds wonderful. I'm ready for that. How many sets? Just kidding.
You ran file?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do I got it. I'll get to the 800 and 400.
Okay.
Were you there at the fight that didn't happen?
What?
Were you there at the fight that didn't happen?
No.
Of course, none of you were.
Yes, you sir.
Fight that was gonna happen?
He just finished.
I know, I saw, but why did
that?
Richard said he's gonna get jumped, and I told him if they're gonna jump you, let them jump you because they're the bitches. They're gonna jump you, they're the bitches.
All right. So
I don't like that. I was gonna fix that. I deleted like all my meme videos. I had enough sources.
He said, I deleted all of my memes. That's a lot. So I saw the secret release for Infinity War 3.
I think you'll be alright.
Oh my god.
Thanos is actually
Jesus Christ. Isn't AJ in the movie?
You're welcome.
God, you're nerd. Next after. You're such a Fortnite. I'm better than you. You're not.
Alright,
I'm better
you
than
guys
Upshaw.
have to catch up.
It's a freaking No one cares for Upshaw.
Sorry, again. First day was mainly adding in sprites. Yeah, this is mainly adding in sprites, and then we did this much coding. The coding was very cut and dry. It was more or less adding in sprites, behaviors, no background. Pay attention to the layout size on the first one, because it's not what we normally do. It's not what we just make it just one width. You'll see on the layout, you'll see here it's actually two. It's split in two, because what it's going to do is it's going to scroll. Yeah, so you're going to actually get the cannon going. You see how it scrolls over to another screen, so that's how it's gonna go. So make sure you pay attention to layout size.
How do you even?
All right, I'm gonna take. I'm gonna pause and do certain things. So if you have a question at that point, that's when you're gonna ask me. Okay?
You do it on a bit, just not yet.
But start watching the live stream now, so you can try to get caught up.
Garbage.
I already know what the end of the game looks like. Kind of.
What should I
No,
do?
we gotta finish the game.
What should I do if I'm behind? Because
You're gonna go on live stream and watch. That's what we're gonna
Oh,
do
I'm trying
for
to
right
get
now.
the screen off without popping the.
James. What's
I want it to fit in. And
shut up, Truman.
That's here. That's here.
One seven. No one cares, Truman.
God, I'm so much better than you.
You're actual garbage.
Oh, Miss, I think I broke it.
Oh, you think you're wrong? I broke.
So undo what you did to break it.
Yeah, stop breaking things. That's all you can do.
Wait. It won't even let me. Oh, yeah.
Look how bad you are. Then skip.
Alright, take a few minutes real quick to make sure your code is caught up and your game's working. I'm gonna just do the attendance. I'm gonna submit it real quick, and then we'll get started.